This is Cheryl A. Major from thinstronghealthy.com, and I want to welcome you to another edition of Major Health Tips in Digestible Bites. And today I have a wonderful, wonderful guest to share with you. And her name is Karen Sammer. And I want to tell you a little bit about her. After overcoming her own health challenges, Karen Sammer became a certified health and nutrition coach who is also a Women Heart Champion community educator, and she'll tell us more about that. She primarily works with women who are struggling with weight management, sugar addiction, lack of energy, stress, and women who want to take steps to adopt a healthier lifestyle, but just don't know where to begin. As a Women Heart Champion, Karen has been trained by the Mayo Clinic to share her heart story and important messages about heart health to empower women to take charge of their own heart health. So welcome, Karen. I am so thrilled to have you here with us today. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much, Cheryl. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, super. You have such a storied history, such wonderful tales to tell. And I want to get right into it and ask you first, I guess, what do you think is the most important component of achieving and maintaining a healthy lifestyle?
First and foremost, I think it's your mindset, because if you can't get your head in the game, nothing's going to work. So you really need to get it. You need to get it straight in your head what you want and take a no questions asked approach and just plow forward. Have tunnel vision and plow forward. And sometimes you fall off the rails, but you got to get right back on. If you don't get right back on track, then life gets in the way and it doesn't work out so well.
And isn't that the truth? I mean, I talk to so many people who say I was so enthusiastic with starting out on this, and then I goofed up one day and I got so mad at myself that I just threw in the towel. I gave up everything and I just said, heck with it. And I went back to what I was doing before. I have talked to so many people who say that. Mm-hmm. And I think we all do it. I mean, we all screw up. We're just not going to be perfect, no matter what we decide that we're going to do going forward. Life happens. Yeah. And I agree.
You really just have to pick yourself back up again and get right back on track, because the longer you allow that to continue, the more difficult it becomes to get back on track.
Right. Right. Absolutely. So share with us a little bit about what you recommend to someone who wants to change their mindset. And especially if they don't know where to begin. They're just down in the dumps, or they're, like I said before, mad at themselves. They just don't know what to do, where to start.
Well, one thing I would say is give yourself a little grace, because you're a human being, a flawed human being. You're living a human existence. And along with that comes mistakes. It comes just falling off the wagon, whatever you want to call it. So really just give yourself a little grace, be kind to yourself, speak nicely to yourself, because there's nobody, most of us speak to us in a way that we would never speak to another human being. So really it's important to just be kind to yourself and allow yourself to be human, but also you take some comfort in knowing that you're human, number one, but also allow yourself to think well enough of yourself to put yourself on the right path. And if you need help doing that, that's what I do. That's what you do, Cheryl. I know we're here to help, and we want to give you the guidance that you need, because not everybody has all the answers. Nobody has all the answers, but there's so much conflicting information out there. It's hard to get on track if you don't know what to follow. Yeah, because some of it is crazy.
Yeah, some of it is crazy. Some of it's very restrictive, and some of it's just a diet. Yeah. And wouldn't you agree that diets are designed to fail?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's impossible. They're not sustainable. Mm-hmm. They're not sustainable.
You're absolutely right. You really need to find a lifestyle. You need to make small incremental changes to your lifestyle and the food that you choose. I don't like to use the word diet. It has the word die in it, for God's sake.
It's a 4-letter word.
Exactly. And I put it right up there with all the other bad ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's about finding the way for you to sustain a healthy lifestyle and still enjoy your life. And there are so many different paths that you can take. And I like to try to help people, depending on what's going on in their lives, and find the way to get there for themselves.
if somebody's really down on themselves, and I think we've all been there. I mean, I struggled with depression most of my adult life from the time I was 12, from early on until, man, more than 40 years later. It was a struggle. So somebody like that, somebody like how I was, somebody who is just really, say somebody's hard on themselves, they're just not cutting themselves any slack, they're not giving themselves any grace. How would you advise them to try to get out of that track? Because it really is a track that you get in. And I think it's hard to change lanes personally when people are like that. How do you counsel people? What do you share with them?
Well, first and foremost, if it looks to me like they need therapy, then I absolutely recommend that. And that's completely outside of my scope of practice. But I do want people to be mentally healthy as much as they can. So if therapy is something that I believe they could benefit from, I would really recommend that they explore that. It doesn't work for them, at least they've tried. But if you find yourself in a downward spiral, I think that small, tiny little steps out are really what you need to do. If you're really depressed and you're curled up in bed and won't get dressed and have the covers up over your head, first thing you do is get up, sit up in the bed, then maybe take a shower, maybe put some clothing on, or but when it comes to the mindset around lifestyle changes and, oh my God, I'm going to fail again kind of attitude, really allow yourself to just try a new way. Don't use the same methodology that you've used over and over again that you have failed at. I don't know how many times I know people who have tried over and over again the same program and with the same results. They have some success, they fall off the wagon, and then they just go back to where they were or worse. And I've seen so many people do that. So try something different. And I offer something different. I offer a different way to do it. But really it's about, loving yourself enough. And if that's difficult, one of the things that I recommend to people is you do mirror work. I don't know if you're familiar with Louise Hay, but Louise Hay
Oh,
is,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Louise Hay was all about mirror work. And you stand in front of the
Oh.
mirror and you say nice things to yourself. You look yourself in the eye and say nice things to yourself. And it may bring you to tears initially. It's given me chills just saying that.
Me too.
But
too.
because a lot of people are very uncomfortable facing themselves and saying nice things to themselves. They're not used to that.
Yeah.
But really, we have to, if we don't love ourselves at least as much as we love everybody else, it's not going to work. So you have to find some aspect of you that you consider lovable and really just love it up, like just love yourself up. And you may not be happy with the body that you're in, but maybe you like your eyes, maybe you like your hairstyle. Just find something that you find favorable about yourself and then apply that, and allow yourself, be gentle with the rest of you that you don't find so appealing, and know that you are on a path. If you're trying to find your way, you're on a path to becoming healthier. It's not about being a bikini model. It's never about that. It's about walking in skin that you're comfortable in, having the energy to get through your day, being able to sleep well at night. If you have kids or grandkids, being able to run around with them, being able to enjoy the life that you're in, having like I said, having the energy to get through all of the things that your life throws at you, and being able to manage and make food choices and lifestyle choices that are going to support that type of existence.
Is there anything that you could share with us that you personally did to pull yourself out of a low point in your life? If that's not getting too personal, if you wouldn't mind just giving us an example. I'm
I'm an
digging
open
here.
book. I am an open book. So what put me on this path in the first place is that I was diagnosed in 2009. I was diagnosed with a pretty aggressive form of breast cancer. And I was raising a couple of kids, had a pretty, pretty stressful job, stressful life. I was the primary breadwinner for the family. And because we decided that my husband was going to stay home and be there for the kids when they got home from school, because nobody needs to have unsupervised preteens in the house, So, so anyway, I was the primary care, provider for our family. And, I lost my mother when I was very young. And I didn't want that to be my kid's story because, there was a very possible, it was very possible that this could have gone south for me. And I was very overweight and I had a lot of things going on. I had high blood pressure, almost high blood pressure. My cholesterol was getting up there. My blood sugar was getting a little wonky. So all of these things were going to come crashing down on me if I didn't do something. So I did. And I took my health into my own hands. I did a lot of research and realized that sugar certainly supports the development of cancer cells.
Yeah.
So the first thing I did was eliminate processed sugar from my life, and that changed everything.
Wow.
And I ended up losing 135 pounds, and I was able to just get everything in order because once you give up that sugar, once you get that sugar out of your system, you have complete control over everything else everything that you put in your mouth, because it's really the sugar, the refined carbohydrates, the junk, the empty calories that cause you to have the cravings, cause you to have those blood sugar dips and, ups and downs. And once you get through that and you're able to level out your blood sugar and not have those cravings where you'll eat the wall, if that's what,
If it has sugar on it.
Yeah, exactly. Then it's just amazing how much control that you can establish.
Yeah.
And so I was able to do that. And, incrementally I made other changes. Sugar was the big thing, but then I became vegetarian. I don't eat dairy. I don't eat gluten. So I took things out little by little from my diet, and I feel better than I did 30 years ago. I'm 65 years old. I feel better than I did 30 years ago.
Wow, you
And
look terrific.
thank you. And I'm really, I'm very happy with the changes that I made. And I never looked back. I was really, and I was a person who throughout my entire adult life, from the time I was about 18 years old, I was constantly on a diet. And my weight was up and down all over the place all the time. I'm a former smoker, so giving up smoking, packed on weight, all of that stuff. So there were a lot of influences in my life that caused me to have yo-yo, weight, numbers of pounds in my body. But I haven't been, that hasn't been a problem in the last, it's in 2009. So since 2010, so 12 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Excuse me. That's a fabulous story. Very inspiring. I mean, for all the people, I find that when I'm coaching people, they mostly want to lose weight. It's like, that's the focus. That's the focus. And it's not just that simple. It's about, don't you think it's about relearning? Because we've been taught that food tastes like processed, boxed stuff rather than food. And it's almost a journey to try to relearn what real food tastes like, because it doesn't necessarily taste good to us. It tastes initially.
Yeah. I think that once you are able to kind of put some distance between you and the junk, the so-called food that is so prevalent in our society, and you actually start eating real whole food, you will develop a taste for it. But your taste buds have been so tainted by the chemicals and the things that they put in the food to make them addictive.
And they do that. They try to do that, don't
absolutely. They have staff. Food companies have a staff of people whose only job it is to make that food taste so that you keep coming back for more. Because how else would they stay in business if you didn't keep coming back for more?
Yeah.
So once you get that out of your system and out of your taste buds get readjusted, it's amazing how good whole food tastes to you. And then you'll start to taste the chemicals and the junk and the over sweetening and the junky fats that they're using, so that they, a lot of times those fats go rancid, and then they disguise the rancidity of it with sugar or other kinds of chemicals and what have you. So you start to discern that once you go to a cleaner eating pattern. If you go back to those old ways, you can taste the
ickiness,
artificiality of it.
Yeah. Do you find that when you eat something that's sweet, I don't know if you ever do, but occasionally I will. I mean, if I'm if I'm, out and it's a birthday party celebration and I have a little slice of cake or something like that, I will do that once in a while. It doesn't taste the same to me that it used to. It's not that, oh, that's so nice and sweet. It's kind of, that's,
Too sweet.
it's too sweet.
Yeah.
It's too sweet. Or it almost tastes, it tastes funny. It doesn't almost taste bitter when it's too sweet. It's, yeah,
It might be, depending if it comes from a box, who knows what's in
yeah,
there, but,
yeah,
so I don't typically, in fact, if I eat a piece of cake, it's gonna be a cake that has been especially prepared to suit my needs.
yeah. Good for
And
you.
so usually a family, it's only gonna be in a family party or a family
Yeah,
situation.
yeah,
But I tend to go towards fresh fruit or something like that if I'm out and I want a dessert.
yeah,
And so I'm participating in dessert like everybody else. It'll be fresh fruit, and you can always
right,
find that in a restaurant usually.
right. And a good choice.
Yeah,
And it tastes so wonderful when you learn to taste real food. People don't understand. And it's so frustrating. It's frustrating for them. It's frustrating for me. I assume it's frustrating for you because people are so married, so in love with their processed food choices
Mhm.
that it's really hard. You can see the struggle with, yeah, I don't think I can do that. You can kind of see the resistance. And, sometimes people do make the changes and sometimes they just can't quite bring themselves to. And when they do make the change, I find it so interesting to watch the metamorphosis because as you said, it frees them. I was talking with someone with a client this afternoon and earlier, and she was telling me that, we've been working together about 3 months. And she said, I don't crave crackers. When we started working together, it was crackers and bread.
Mhm.
I can't stop. I want the crunch. I want the bread. I want that heaviness. I want that, that bulk. Today, she said, I don't miss it. I don't crave it anymore. I don't miss it. And it was a struggle for her, but she hung in there and she did it. And I think it's important to share with everybody who's listening that when you get past that point, it's a whole new world for you in so many ways, in so many ways.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And really the physical addiction, because there is a physical addiction component to it.
yeah,
The actual physical addiction is usually gone around 3-4 days later, from the time that you stop. If you go cold turkey,
yeah,
it is 3 or 4 days and you get that out of your system.
yeah,
And then you can start to taste real food, and you'll notice that your energy goes up
yeah.
and that your sleep becomes deeper and more restorative. And you can do things more effectively and more easily.
And
And
mood.
yeah, and your mood, yes, absolutely. It's a mood elevator when you
Yep,
don't have those bouncing around sugar levels.
yep,
When you even out that sugar level, it's amazing the difference in your behavior, in your mood, how you think, the clarity of thought. It's just
yeah.
unbelievable. I mean, when you have divorced yourself from all that junk, you don't, because you don't notice it when you're in it. But
Mm,
once you eliminate it from your life,
yeah,
your clarity of thought and your
yeah,
ability to just function at a higher level that you never even realized you weren't functioning at.
right.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it's a
So
real aha moment,
yeah.
isn't
And
it? When
isn't
you
it
go,
wonderful to have a client experience that too? Because it can happen.
she's my star client. I say to her, you are my star client because you just did the hard work and look what you're doing. And, her goal was to lose 20 pounds and she's getting there.
Good for her.
She's getting there. Yeah, I'm so proud of her. She's just been doing a great job. So let's see. I wanted to ask you anything you can share around why mindset's important to I can say that, sustainable weight loss and general good health.
Well, so I go back to the quote from Henry Ford: "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right." So if you come to, and this happens so often, and I'm sure you've had the same experience, Cheryl. My clients come to me saying, "Oh, I could never do what you did. I could never do what
Yeah,
you did."
yeah,
Well, when your life is being threatened, you probably could, but hopefully you haven't gotten to that point before you decide to turn things around. My life was being threatened before I got the message, and
mm,
I had gotten messages, before that,
mm,
but this was a real, "You better wake up, sister."
yeah,
So I heeded that message, but if your mind is so powerful that you can talk yourself either way. You can talk yourself into being successful, or you can talk yourself into being a raging failure. Why not talk yourself into being a success?
Mm.
And find your brain can find evidence of that success if you allow it to do so. So your filtering system, your reticular activating system, can find evidence of your success if you say to yourself, I am a success, and here's why. And then your brain will show you the evidence of that.
Mm.
But if you want to be a miserable failure, your brain's going to show you evidence of that as well.
Yeah.
So why not look for the evidence for the good stuff?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Karen, so interesting what you have to share. And I want to give you the opportunity to share with the audience something that you think the listeners might benefit from, that they might enjoy, that you have to offer currently.
I would love to, Cheryl. Thank you so much
Cool.
for that opportunity.
Yeah.
So it just so happens that today is Wednesday. I know that this probably won't air today, but today is Wednesday, the 23rd of November. And between now and the 30th of November, I am offering a Black Friday special for my annual Kick Sugar to the Curb program. So
Cool.
that will occur in January, after all the holiday stuff is over and everybody's looking at themselves and their scale and how the clothes are fitting a little bit more tightly. This is the time to take care of it. And
Yeah.
it was life-changing for me. Kicking sugar to the curb was life-changing for me. And I want it to be life-changing for anybody who hears this. So between now and next Wednesday, the 30th, what's normally $197 is a $97. And you
Excellent.
I'll give you, Cheryl, I'll give you the website or the link.
The
for
link,
people
and
who
I'll
don't
post
know.
it. Yep.
Yeah.
I
if
will
that'd be
post
okay.
it below. Yep.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
And so anybody's welcome to join. I don't think you'll be sorry. Even at $197, it's a steal. But $97 for this program, if you follow it and if you move along with me and really trust that I can help you, it is life-changing.
Life-changing. Wow.
Yeah.
And to change your life for $97 is such a
Pretty sweet
deal.
Yeah.
Such a deal. Such a deal. Why wouldn't someone take advantage of that? And your guidance just sounds like it would be absolutely golden with this. You've walked the road before. And I think it's so much easier. I can always tell. When I look at books, Karen, I can tell if someone has been trained in it and they're just parroting back, or I can tell if someone has walked the hard walk and they're sharing the journey.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it resonates so much more with people's struggles when you've come from a place of needing to make change and you've just done it. So I think everyone should take a look at this, and I will post it. Along with the podcast so that people can take a look at your program, Karen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I love talking to you. We had a chat before, a couple times before, actually. And I just thought that Karen had so much to offer that I wanted to share her with you. So thank you, Karen. Maybe we can do this again and go into a different kind of subject the next time. We'll think of something. There's
Absolutely.
so much out there.
I have lots to talk about, so I'm happy.
Yeah, I know you do. I know you do. That's great. So thank you, Karen, and thank you, people who have tuned in to listen to this. This is Cheryl A. Major, and you have listened to another episode of Major Health Tips in Digestible Bites. So long for now, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.